Welcome everyone to this segment of Mountain Slayer to Garage. We're here with Nick from Iceage Performance, and they're the inventors of the Elevate kits for both Polaris and Arctic Cat. We're just going to talk to you a little bit about how this came to be, what benefits you can get, and how this will benefit your ride this year, your Polaris or your Arctic Cat. So I was going to ask you, so where did the idea of Elevate come from, and how did you get that?
So originally what happened, we got the 2018 Mountain Cat, that came in. We had it in the shop next to our Gen 4 and our Axis, and we see them in the shop, and it's like, okay, there's a huge disparity in ride height between these vehicles. Like that. So we started with the Cats. That was the first thing we saw. Like this thing, there's a lot of good things about these vehicles, but they do kind of plow in the snow. So we started experimenting, trying to get the chassis up out of the snow, and after a lot of different iterations, we landed on what we have now. Consumers know now as our Elevate kit.
This one right here for the Arctic Cat?
Yep, that spindle there. So now, coming to this season, we've a year of development on the Polaris. We took that idea, continue to get the sleds up out of the snow, make them less drag, easier to hold on an edge, all things that make snowmobiles easier.
Right. So if we were to install an Elevate kit, you have them for the spindles for the Polaris, and the Polaris raises the machine how much out of the snow?
On the Polaris, we're doing 1 inch on that one.
And the Arctic Cat is how much?
The Cat gets a full 2 inches of ride height on the front end.
Now, the Cat, what kind of machine can you put just the spindles on?
So on those, you got just all the different variations of the Alpha 1 models. So, obviously now they have submodels, the hardcore, all that, but anything with the Alpha suspension, it just requires spindles. On some of the older models with the twin rails, then you need that and rails as well.
Okay. And then what about the Polaris spindles? What models, are you able to put that on all models, or do you have to kind of choose a certain model to put those on?
So we have a couple different variations there. You can do the spindles alone, you can put directly onto a Chaos, or anything that's been kind of converted to Chaos geometry. But if you have, say, an RMK, it's a spindle and a set of rails to allow it to kind of get proper geometry, weight distribution, and all of that.
And since these raise about 1 inch, with that extra about 1 inch longer front track shock on the Chaos, does that make it a better fit? The Chaos, we're putting these Polaris ones on a Chaos versus just a regular RMK?
Yeah, what we found on those specifically was it just helped us really have almost a bit of a raised RMK. You still get that precision in your front end, super good control in technical terrain. You have that fun Chaos skid geometry, and still really good weight distribution, which we're really pleased with how the end result came out on that.
So, as far as what performance gains, are you going to get the same performance gains on a Polaris versus a Cat? Or are they a little different as far as we put the spindles on each?
I'd say out of the box, the Cat ones might be more distinguishable because we're making a bigger change to it. And that chassis is, I'd say, at this point, is the oldest design, and we were able to make the biggest improvement, where the Polaris, from a chassis standpoint, is a little more refined. So we were making a little more subtle changes to it. But both of them are still adding some pretty critical precision.
So if I put these on my Alpha, what kind of performance improvement, riding improvement am I going to really notice?
Probably the biggest thing is just right out of the gate. I mean, not that an Alpha's hard to get on edge, but just that reduced weight on the front end. We kind of roll the thing back a little more on the skid. Just rolls around smoother side to side. And it also greatly reduces the panel out angle, so you can hold it. Steeper side hill, you're going to bump into the snow less, so when you're crossing old ruts, you're not going to be slamming off the hill, doing things like that.
You're essentially raising the center of gravity 2 inches.
Exactly.
So it's easier to pull over. Now, since you said you're kind of moving the center of gravity from front to back a little bit, does it pop the front up a little easier?
Yeah, on the Cats especially, you'll notice that we're lifting the front a little more than the rear, so that shifts the weight bias back, makes it a little easier to pop the skis in a tight spot. You want to hop across a creek, a log, something like that. You can snap the gas and get it over really easy.
Okay, great. Now, probably the big question, there's 3 major brands of snowmobiles. Skidoo people, the fans out there, are going to see maybe something for Skidoo in the next year or two?
We always have things in the hopper. We're always working on new projects. Right now, it's a little challenging. We're kind of coming into what we see as the end of a chassis life cycle, so you play more conservative.
Chassis life cycle is what, 5-ish years for most brands? I mean, Arctic Cat stretched it out a lot because of the Alpha, but Skidoo's on. This is year number 5. Right?
It is. So again,
Polaris is year number 6.
Exactly. So we've been playing with things. We're always tinkering. I mean, that's the fun thing. If you went in the shop, there's so many different oddball projects we've worked on. Just because they're good snowmobiles doesn't mean we can't always be looking to strive to make them better.
So We're going to have a couple of these. We're going to set up our Chaos with these spindles, our Alpha with these spindles this year. It's going to be great. We'll get out and test those. We'll do live videos of those. We appreciate Nick taking us across with these. Look at their website. They have so many other things as far as rails and wheels and other billet components for your suspension. Other than suspension products, do you have other products or mostly just suspension products?
You know, we stick pretty heavy into that. We're really trying to focus and do as much as we can in suspension and get as much product out of that lineup as we can.
All right. I want to thank everyone for joining us for this episode, and especially thank Nick from Iceage, and everyone check out their website and their products, and we're going to review this hard this year and let you know how much performance gain and how much we love it.